Now that we've created a Docker file and built an image, it's very important to talk about how images work under the hood. Now when it comes to an image, it's really just more than that. Images are reusable building blocks, but they consist of their own building blocks called image layers. Each image consists of multiple layers that are combined into the final image. Now what exactly defines these image layers? It's each line in the Docker file. So every line in a Docker file defines an image layer, and each layer can be individually identified by its own identifier. In order to prove this, let's go to the command line, make sure that we're in that app directory, and let's rebuild the first version of our note-taking app. So I'm going to do docker build -t note-taking app :v1 dot. So notice a couple things. Docker outputs the build in terms of layers, and each layer is defined as a step in the build process and can be identified by this little identifier here. Note that's a little generated ID. Each step corresponds to lines in our Docker file. Now, why would this be beneficial? Image layers have a lot of important benefits, such as being cacheable. So for example, that build took not much time at all compared to the first time we built that image. And that's because if you look at each step after the base image, it's using the cached version of that image layer. So again, this is really reusable, and it helps speed up the build process because anything that's happened before will just be stored in a cache for later use. Some things to keep in mind with these image layers is that the base image, even though we're not pulling it from the cache, we're pulling it from Docker Hub, and that base image has its own Docker file that was ran, and it consists of its own set of image layers. So really, all Docker images out there are just layers upon layers combined into the final image.